How did the civil rights cases affect the struggle for desegregation? How did the civil rights cases of 1883 shape the fight against segregation in the United States? This question takes us back to a critical moment in history. After the American Civil War, the nation faced the challenge of rebuilding and ensuring rights for newly freed African Americans. The Reconstruction era aimed to secure these rights through various amendments and laws. However, the civil rights cases of 1883 changed everything. In these cases, the Supreme Court ruled against the Civil Rights Act of 1875. This act had been designed to stop racial discrimination in public places like hotels, theaters, and public transportation. The court decided that the 14th Amendment's Equal Protection Clause only applied to state actions, not private discrimination. This ruling meant that private businesses could legally refuse service to African Americans without any federal oversight. The impact of this decision was severe. It weakened the federal government's ability to protect African Americans from discrimination. With this ruling, many private businesses and individuals felt free to enforce segregation. This led to the rise of Jim Crow laws, which mandated racial segregation in schools, transportation, and public facilities. These laws created a system of second-class citizenship for African Americans, making the fight for desegregation much harder. The civil rights cases marked a significant turning point after the Reconstruction era. They showed how the federal government was stepping back from enforcing civil rights protections. This retreat highlighted the limitations of the 13th and 14th Amendments as they were interpreted at that time. The ruling delayed progress toward desegregation for many years. It wasn't until the civil rights movement of the mid-20th century that significant changes began to occur. New legal strategies and legislation, such as the Civil Rights Act of 1960, finally addressed discrimination by private entities. This act was based on different constitutional grounds and aimed to dismantle the segregation that had been allowed to flourish since the civil rights cases. In summary, the civil rights cases of 1883 had a negative effect on the struggle for desegregation. By removing federal protection against private discrimination, they allowed legalized segregation to take root. This setback for African American civil rights lasted 4 decades after the American Civil War and the Reconstruction era.